Hi, my name's Leon Rowe, currency trader and trading coach at trading180.com, and welcome to this week's supply and demand Forex technical analysis. If you're new, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. Just wanted to say that you can skip to your favorite currency pairs. The link, pretty much the video is time stamped, but I would prefer if you watch pretty much the whole video so you can see some trading opportunities. Also, what I've done this week is I've created a video, supply and demand zone forex trading, right, which is from the supply and demand zone course, and pretty much I show you exactly how I draw the supply and demand zones that I do every week on a daily time frame chart using the principles that I trade with the higher high, higher low sequence, lower highs, lower lows, etc. Not rally based drop, drop based rally. And again, if you want to know a bit more about how I trade as well, please go to the YouTube channel. I've got loads and loads of videos. Ones that I really do recommend are this one right here. Any of the free training videos that are really over, I'll probably say 20 minutes long. I mean, watch everything, to be fair, I would say. But if you definitely want to get an understanding on really how I do trade supply and demand, then there is a video, an introduction to supply and demand price zone analysis. That one really spells out everything, the fundamentals and really the foundation, I should say, on supply and demand, and how you really should be looking at price charts and understanding what's an expensive area, what's a cheap area, and why I trade the methodology that I do. So let's get into the technicals now. So we will start off as we usually do every week on the dollar index, and the dollar index, in case you're new, is just an index that measures the strength of the US dollar against the major currency pairs like the pound, the euro, and the yen. So from last week, we've created some more demand zones, and excuse my voice, I've got a bit of a cold I'm just getting over. So here are the two demand zones right here, and we've come up into this long-term supply zone here. You can see that we are reacting now. Doesn't mean that you should be taking every single demand or supply zone. Nope. Something that you shouldn't be doing. What you're looking for is value. So at the moment, this is, did I just put demand or supply? This is an expensive area, right? One sec. Supply, right, here we go. Right, this is a previously expensive area around here. So if you are looking to short the dollar, possibly because of some profit taking, then this would be pretty much the area. We have put in a bit of a negative candle here. So if you're looking to be a seller, then you wouldn't sell necessarily on the Dow Jones dollar index. What you'd be selling on is any of the Forex currency pairs that involve the US dollar, so any dollar crosses, right? So you'd be looking for any kind of supply zones on the dollar yen, dollar Swiss, dollar CAD, New Zealand dollar. You'd be looking for demand zones, right? If you're looking to be a buyer, obviously you'd have to wait for price to really come down here before looking to be a buyer. So that should obviously be a pullback on the dollar crosses, and then you'd be looking for any kind of demand zone confluence on the dollar crosses. So what do I think is going to happen with the dollar? I'm not really into making predictions, but I'm personally, and this is not financial advice, I've been a buyer of the dollar pretty much all year, just buying pullbacks on any dollar pairs, and how I come to my conclusion is really through, again, fundamental analysis, and there's a free fundamental analysis course, right? The link is in the description box below, and I go over pretty much what was taught to me by an ex-hedge funds trader, and it can get quite complex, but I've broken it down right, into, you know, simplest form. And I've also tried to help guys out with a fundamental analysis spreadsheet. So just click on that, takes you to this, and based on my fundamental analysis, I show you what I am bullish or bearish as well, where I get my fundamental analysis resources from, sentiment analysis, and the last update, which was today, right? So I know now, I've been, again, any of you who've been following me for a while, you knows that I've been pretty much, this has stayed bullish pretty much all year since I've been, you know, doing this, showing you this fundamental spreadsheet. So literally I've just been buying the dollar over, you know, the yen, the pound, Swiss franc, the euro, you know, and that's really all I've been doing. And that's what really trading is about, because as you'll start to find out in the fundamental analysis course, that's how, you know, institutions, you know, financial institutions, central banks, that's how they determine values through, you know, things like interest rate cycles, business cycles, which I will explain in the course. But anyway, getting back to the technicals, you know, I'll be a buyer at certain levels as well on the other currency pairs. So when prices come down here, I'm looking for some confluence. It's just my confluence meter, and if that doesn't work out, then I'll be looking for, you know, any buying opportunities around here, right? So let's move on to the dollar yen. The dollar yen, so last couple of weeks we did have, you know, buying opportunities here, so I hope, you know, anyone managed to get, you know, there was about just about 100 pips out of this move here. Now we've come down, touch this demand so we can get rid of that one, and let's put in some new supply zones. So we've started to make lower highs, lower lows, so you can see right there, this is where that area of supply is. So if you are looking to get long on the dollar, right, do you just randomly take any kind of demand zone? No, what you have is supply and demand, technical analysis basics, and what we're trying to do really in this is just determine the order flow equation. So from a technical perspective, so forced and willing supply and demand orders. So why is there going to be more demand zones at this level, right? So demand zones, the demand, right, or buy orders, right, willing supply and forced supply at this level, right, that's going to push the market higher. And why is there going to be more supply at this level to push it lower, right? So what we do is we use the horizontal, diagonal, and dynamic support and resistance to help us from a technical perspective as to why we think there should be more buy orders and more demand in this area than there is supply, and within these demand and supply zones. So for example, we have horizontal support and resistance is one of the things we look for. So we know that we're supply and demand traders, but there are support and resistance traders, right? So the area within this demand zone we'd be looking for, right, would be something like this, where you have an area of resistance, 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 bit of support. Prices come down into this demand zone around this 1150 area, 11150 area, and now you can start to see prices react. Do we know that this is definitely going to work? Again, it depends on the fundamentals and the sentiment, but this is one of the areas. We've also got another area within this large demand zone where you can see traders would be looking to potentially buy, right? Where you've got resistance, resistance, support, bit of support and resistance going on here, support, bit of support here, right? So when prices come down into this zone, this is where another area where we might be looking to potentially get long, right? And you would do the same thing for a diagonal and dynamic support and resistance, which is just moving averages, right? 2150, 100 and 200 EMAs and SMAs that you plot on a chart, right, as some confluence. So we've got the 100 EMAs and SMAs coming into that area. You can start to see it react, right? So if you are a buyer, you would go down into the lower time frame, right, and start to look for price action that you think is going to be your trigger to get long, in this area, right? And that's pretty much all you're looking to do. Same thing you would do with supply. So supply, if you're looking to be a seller, these are the areas, right? Look for these, the supply and demand equation at this area. You might get one, you might get two, you might get three. Usually get the horizontal support and resistance. If you don't get all of them, doesn't really matter, but you want at least one or two. Three would be perfect. It's like an A1 setup kind of thing technically. So do the same thing with supply and anything going forward. And again, if you want to know more about that, it's this video here, right? Supply and demand order flow equation. And really, again, I'll go over the psychology as to why there should be more supply in an area or more demand in an area through willing and forced supply, and really just traders' habits, right? So let's clear all this. So you've got, these are really your options when it comes to looking at, you know, buying orders and placing buy trades, and also with your sell trades as well. Matter of fact, probably maybe extend that up a little bit more. You can see where there is some support and resistance there. So resistance, resistance, resistance. So if prices come up into this area here, this higher 112 area, you see your price action. This is where you want to look to get potentially short, right? And again, the Japanese yen being a risk currency. So let's go into the dollar CAD. Sorry, got dollar Swiss. Apologies, right? So this week we've continued to push up, so we can get rid of that supply zone, right? And we've made some more demand right here. Demand, right? And what we're also doing now is creating again probably some profit taking on Friday. There was some decent news for the dollar with regards to GDP was above expected, right? The expected outcome feels like 3.5%, down from 4.2, but it was above the 3.3 number, so it's still positive. But you know, if you're buying here, right, and looking to buy here, just keep in mind that you are buying into a potentially expensive area. This is, you know, considered a cheap area, but if we're looking at it from, you know, the overall move up and higher, this being an absolute bargain level, right, then you're buying really at the highest. So I'd probably be looking for more of a level, pull back into maybe this 99 level if we can get something 0.99, 0.9850, unless this again goes even higher, takes out this supply zone, and then I'll be looking for, you know, demand zones around here. But again, I'm just telling you what I'm doing, not again financial advice. If you feel that you want to take advantage of dollar weakness, then now is going to be the potential time to again look for some horizontal, diagonal and dynamic support and resistance confluence within this area to determine supply and demand order equation. So you'll be looking anywhere probably around here, right? We are at this round number 10, so probably there will be some profit taking around here. Prices don't ever go up forever, so you could potentially look for lower time frame trading, right, for the 4 hour or the 1 hour. And as we get a pullback into the week, maybe take a chance right here. And also, if that level doesn't work out, then this will be the next area down here. And I do like this this area right there, as you've had resistance, resistance, support, support. So if prices do come down here, this is where I'll be looking to be a buyer, right? Moving on to the dollar CAD, and dollar CAD, we have created technically a new high right there. There was definitely some demand around here. Last week we did come down. Let's just delete this for a sec. So we did come down into this demand zone, and then prices went higher. Right, so this creates a demand zone. So if you are looking to be a buyer of the dollar over the CAD, then you'd be looking for prices to probably come down into an area like this, and I can pretty much just see from here there is some support and resistance. Right, you've had a bit of a level around here, resistance, support, bit of support and resistance in here, resistance. You can see it's kind of broken up, also on its way higher. Again, not saying that this is going to work out. You've got to do your fundamental analysis. This is two strong currencies really against each other. I would say that dollar's probably just a bit more stronger, but they're both raising interest rates, so this is probably less predictable, to be fair, and less likely to trend. You're probably more going to get a ranging market at some point, as you got two even currencies, competing with each other, both on the interest rate hiking cycle. And if you get, this level kind of breaks, then you're looking for anything potentially lower, right? You've got a level here, support, resistance, bit of support here as well. So if prices do come down here, this is where you'd be looking to potentially look for, again, just price action. If you're looking to be a buyer, if you're looking to be a seller, then I would probably be looking at, somewhere like this. Let me delete that. All right, from a horizontal, yeah, probably that zone around here, right? So you're looking at support, resistance, right? And then if prices do come up here, this is where, to look for potential sell opportunities, probably maybe around this 132 level, 1.32 level as well, round number confluence as well. Round and half numbers in here if you're looking to get short on the dollar and buy the Canadian dollar. Moving on to the US, my mind is all over the place. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, right? So we got a demand zone here which did pierce through, right? So there was definitely demand here, but as we've touched this second demand here, I'm gonna delete this area here. And what if you want to be a buyer, and this is pin bar on the daily, is what you would look to do, or look to enter. Then there's probably a trigger right there, or what you might want to do is look for price to come probably down into this zone before looking to buy again. If you're looking to be a seller, then I'm going to draw this supply zone here. Right, so supply right there, and again, you've got a bit of confluence within this area, right, where you've got a bit of resistance, bit of support here, resistance. So we come up right up into this 0.66 round number as well. So if you want to be a seller, right, or a buyer of the US dollar, right, then this is going to be the first area to look to get short. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I would say, obviously, if this area doesn't work out, then you'd be looking for buying opportunities around here. Moving on to the dollar, pound dollar. We've had, pretty much this started off the week right here to keep this demand zone on, but due to obviously the dollar, the pound being weak, Brexit, dollar strengthening, really, we've taken out these demand zones and created some supply zones. So this creates us with some shorting opportunities right here. Yeah, so now we're putting in a bit of a pin bar. Will prices reverse here? Who knows? But if you are looking to be a buyer of the pound, then this is where you'd be looking to get long. If you're looking to get short on this, this is where the first area you'd be looking to get short. And I do like this supply area here for a short. If this doesn't work out, then you're looking at this area to potentially get long. And again, just apply the supply and demand order equation to your trades. Pound, yen. Again, the pound suffering from some risk-off sentiment, and the Japanese yen is a beneficiary of risk-off sentiment in the market. Stock market was selling off. You've got Europe, Italy, and the budget. You've also got the tariff Trump trade wars going on as well. So all in all, it's not looking great for the pound at all. So the Japanese yen is strengthening based on that, but fundamentally the Japanese yen isn't necessarily the currency to buy. But if you do take advantage of risk off sentiment, then definitely this was the time. We've come down into this demand zone right here. So if you want to be a buyer, that'd be the first area to be a buyer. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to put some more another demand zone right here. Sorry, one sec. Demand, yeah, right here. In fact, I might just extend that down just to include that area of demand right there. So this is where you'd be looking to get long. If you're looking to get short, right, then this is the first area you're looking to get short here. Right, moving on to the euro dollar and the euro dollar. If anyone managed to get into this trade from the last couple of weeks, then well done. It was from up here about 2 weeks ago. I did get in and I basically entered again based off of here, and I took profit really around here. But if you manage to stay in the trade and carry on, then brilliant. We're going to delete that. Now we are down into the what would potentially be considered a cheap area, right? But again, from fundamental analysis, you'd have to decide whether you want to be a buyer of the euro around here. Yeah, that's not to say that prices couldn't make their way higher. Right, but you have to decide where the value is. This is potential value, and this could be potential profit taking around here. We also have created another demand zone, supply zone right here. Let's move that out of the way. Right, so if we get a pullback and you want to take advantage of this move down and what traders would consider a trending environment, I'm going to move that here and here as well, then be my guest. That would be the first area to look for a pullback before looking to get short. You can see where you've had a bit of resistance here as well. So if we zoom in, you've got support, right, and then resistance should occur as they is commonly taught, but we've also got a supply zone within this area as well. So anywhere probably around here to look to get short on this currency pair. Moving on to the euro yen and euro yen, I'm gonna delete this demand zone here, even though it does look like there is some demand there. I'm gonna delete it. We got some more supply coming into the market, prices making lower highs and lower lows. If I'm looking to be a buyer of the Japanese yen, this is either going to have to create a new demand zone, right, something like that, or it's going to have to come down really into this demand zone here before looking to be a buyer. Again, if you're looking to be a buyer of the euro, then you really have to look for other markets as well. So look for the stock market to be increasing and going to the upside, and also markets like gold as well to be selling off, right? If you're looking to be a buyer of the Japanese yen, then you'll be looking for a pullback and then looking to probably sell around here. And again, you can start to see where you have some support. Maybe we'll turn resistance in this area right here. Right, and again, just go through your supply and demand equation. Euro dollar. Oh, gone backwards. Euro pound. Right, we've got another demand zone here. So it continues to make higher highs, higher lows. Right now, if you want to be short on the euro, now's the time. You're looking to buy the pound, you're looking to buy the euro versus the pound. This is going to be the first area to look to potentially, get long. There's really not much to be said about this currency pair. Let's have a look. You do have an area of support and resistance right here. Right, so it could come just past this area here and then look to get potentially short around this, just before this 0.89 round number, as this is where the area of value really is. Right, we don't trade support and resistance levels. Other traders do, but we just need to be aware of where the most supply orders and most sell orders are potentially going to be entering the market, so that we can understand why there should be more supply than demand in this area. And the same thing with demand. So moving on to the Euro Swiss. Euro Swiss has come down this week, right, making lower highs, lower lows. So you can see that we do have some supply right there. Supply, got a bit of demand, and so again, if you're looking to be a buyer of the euro, now is probably the time. And again, just go down and look for some potential areas of support and resistance within that area. Again, what you can do also is go down into lower time frames and see if you can see anything a bit more clearer, right, within this area here. Right, doesn't look that clear. I would probably say the lower end of this demand zone is probably a better place, to get long. Right, looks like a better location to look to get long. Even though you do have some, support, some resistance, right? You have a bit of resistance, but recently it didn't really react until maybe here and here. So you can see prices are reacting. If you do want to be a buyer of the euro, if you're looking to be a buyer of the Swiss franc, again, you'd be looking for probably the higher end of this area right here. Right, where you have support, bit of resistance within this supply zone. Right, supply zones always come first, right? Because that's where potential value is. So you're looking for move up into this area before looking to get short. Euro Aussie, and we did react to this demand zone once, twice. We do have a bit of a fresh area, right, untouched area around here, which is around this 1.60 level, where if I was looking to be a buyer of the euro, this is where I'd definitely be looking to potentially buy. If you're looking to be a seller, we did create a lower low here. You can see where prices did react during the week, and then prices sold off. So that opportunity is probably obviously gone. But if you do, get prices come up just above that level, right, there's the first area to look to get shorts on this currency pair. And you can see we've really just entered into price acceptance range between the 1.6 level and the 1.635. So this is an expensive area, this is a cheap area. You can start to see until something fundamentally changes between both of these currency pairs. We're probably going to end up ranging at some point, from now on until prices decide to break. The Australian dollar, US dollar, and we've come back down into, delete that, into this long-term demand zone here, which I'll keep on the chart. We've created some supply zones right here, and also right here as well. So we could be entering into quite a tight little range right between this high and this low, right? So if you are a buyer now, you'd have to really be hoping that prices are going to break through this area here. But again, why would you be buying the Australian dollar over the US dollar? It's beyond me. If you're looking to be a short, short on this currency pair, then anywhere probably around here is going to be where you're looking to potentially get short. And you can see where you've got support, bit of resistance. So again, top end of this supply zone is where to potentially look to get short. If that area doesn't work out, then you've got this area right here. I think that's pretty much all to say about that. And we've got the Aussie dollar, Japanese yen. So the Japanese yen, again, benefiting from risk sentiment. So if prices do come up here again, this will be the area to look to get short. If we have a risk on market environment going into next week, then this looks like a decent buy. As you can see, we're pretty much on the lower time frame chart. We're at the bottom of this range. You can start to see now prices are reacting. Is this profit taking? We don't know. But if you are looking again at risk on sentiment, right, coming into the market, then this is a decent, looks like a decent buy. So just look for prices to maybe, you can either take it now, or you can wait for prices to come into, maybe retrace a little bit before looking to get long, right? So that's pretty much the analysis on the major currency forex pairs, for supply and demand zones for this week. If you've enjoyed this, and please like, subscribe and share. If you have any comments or any questions, just email me or leave a comment in the section box below. Don't forget to check out all of the videos on YouTube, as well as the free fundamental analysis course, right? So you guys, I hope you have a great trading week, right? And take care. So if you'd like to receive the best supply and demand forex levels absolutely free, click on the link in the description box below, enter your email address, and we'll send you the levels that we have just analyzed in this video. You'll get all of the major forex currency pairs, and you'll get regular updates and never miss a forex trading opportunity.